Hi everyone, as promised, I'm back. Um, so we're going to do a bit more work on our little log cabin diorama, and sorry, blanked out for a second there. What we're going to do is we're going to get some painting done today. Now, if you remember last time, we were working on the clay for the groundworks. Now it's all very touch dry, it's not sticky like it used to be, but it still feels slightly damp. So where it said on the packet 24 to 48 hours drying time doesn't necessarily mean all the time. Because if you know the seasons, at the moment it is winter comes springtime in New Zealand, so the air is a little moist, it's not particularly warm. But I tried hitting it with a hairdryer and I'm having technical glitches. Hang on a second. Trying to bring it back. Anyway, so while we've got this one, as you can see, it is touch dry, and hang on, get that other one going again. The internet's been extra sketchy today, so here we go. Oh, hey Jake, how you doing? Bear with me, mate. Trying to add myself in again. Okay, so what I think I'll do is I will risk painting this a little bit, and okay, it's not working yet. And what I'll do is I'll paint it with a dry brushing technique and see if that holds together. It'll just probably take extra time to dry because the temperatures are not particularly warm. Hang on. Ugh. Hang on. Oh, no, 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 no. Where are you going? I am having technical difficulties trying to get things set up the way I want, but I will be with you in a minute because I am so not technical minded. Right, now. That way you don't have to see two of me in awful, awful angles. Okay. Which one's muted, Jake? Hang on. I'm going to mute this one. If I can. Here we go. Can you hear me? Come on, come on. Right. Oh. What is happening? Well, I hope you can at least see part of this. Right. Now, that one. All right. Okay. Now, there's a bit of a lag between the two cameras, and as I said, my internet's a little bit sketchy, so it might drop out. Yes, Jake, I know. Oh, Oh, come on. Oh, I can see it. It's having trouble. All right, let's start fresh. Let's hope it all hangs on there and one cam's frozen, just about. So we're going to dry brush that. But in the meantime, I don't know if you remember at the end when we were working at this texturing, I kept coming up with all these ideas of things to add in. And ideas I had. Thank you for being understanding, Jake. One of the ideas I had was to create something else to go into so I made a little video about what I got up to yesterday, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that it will play and it'll work out just the way we want. So bear with me. Here we go. Share screen. I want this. Okay. Oh, that is so poo, that resolution. Oh, come on. Come on, guys. Oh, play nice. So as you can see, I finished putting the fence together. Then I got some polymer clay out and I started sculpting. So I'm carving it out of the block. Any guesses yet what it might be? If you're paying attention to the last live stream, you might be getting a pretty good idea by now. As you can see, I use very high-tech sculpting tools. I don't know if you are getting any of the soundtrack of this, or was I supposed to click something else? I don't know. Oh, come on. This is a super sketchy internet day. I need a signal booster out here. Oh. Hey, Bomber. I'm beginning to lose hope on the stream. It's not working. Oh, come on. Don't know why it's stopping and starting like this. Got plenty of signal for this one. I think at that point that legged measuring for size. Checking out where the man boobs are going to go. Busting out some biceps and triceps and deltoid. Trying to round off some of these edges a little bit so they're not quite so square and sharp. Oh, that boy needs a booty. And he needs a nice big juicy squatch booty. So I'm just trying to blend in and shape some butt cheeks. Because let's face it, baby got back. And now we're on to the moves. Well, you got to think Sasquatches have to have those big pectoral muscles to help them when they're climbing up the trees and that sort of stuff, or for catching their prey and ripping it apart. Eek. Looks like lady boobs right now, but I'm trying to flat them out a little bit. And this was not Patty. I was not making Patty. What is going on here? Oh, sorry guys. My computer does this weird thing when I try to do time lapse. It skips and throws bits in all sorts of places. It wasn't showing this at all last night when I was making it. So I'd like to know what it skipped out then. So I did not put that part there. Okay, once I'd sculpted it anyway, cooked it in the air fryer because our only oven is a coal range oven and you might control the temperatures in it. We use our air fryer, which is probably handy for little things anyway. Here we go. Okay, so that's what I was up to yesterday. Okay, so today we'll do the painting and then we do a bit of sanding on our wee little squatchy fella and get into painting him too because he's nice and hard now. All right. Oh, and here's the fence. Gates open. I don't dare touch it too hard because it might collapse on me. All right. So we want different greens for the grass. We're going to have to get the paint palette. As you can see, it's well used. I'm going, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to have to move everything off the right-hand side so I can use it. Okay, we want a touch of green. I'm not going to need a whole lot of paint, but I want to use a variety of colours just to give like shading and that sort of thing. The phthalo green. You can see some of my older paints are getting a bit thick and chunky. But that's okay, they're still usable. Then I want a smidge of yellow. It's probably way more than I need. And a tiny bit of white. Oh, geez, I didn't see all that coming out. Okay. That was a lot of paint. I'll show you. Oh, there's a big splotch of white. Okay, I get my brushes out. I'll have to pick one. This one will do. Tiny bit of water in my wash jar. Now, because the clay is not properly dry, I don't want to go and get it very wet because then it will just take longer and longer and be a disaster. So what we're going to do is dry brush on the paint as best we can. So we'll start, I think, with the phthalo green. And just plop, for want of a better way to describe it, because I've got all these little dips and holes, it's going to be hard to fill them. So just kind of want to, again, sound effects, put in there, gently pushing the bristles in. I'm not going to push hard because I don't want to change the structure of the clay or the shapes. I quite like the shapes as they are. So more exciting watching as I ramble on. Oh, hey, Julia. Good to see you. Did you have a good birthday? Yes, Bomber. It was a Sasquatch. That's what I made yesterday. Unfortunately, my Sasquatch looks a little camp. Well, that's okay. He can be as camp as he wants. Oops, little tiny bits of clay falling off. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. Try not to pull funny faces. I'm concentrating. Not always successful. Now, I've been having a think about how to glue all the pieces onto the base. When this air dry clay dries, it can get apparently quite porous. So I'm thinking the usual craft glue, the tacky glue that I use, may not work. It might just kind of soak in and make it a bit soggy. So we need something a bit thicker. So I'm starting to think maybe I do have to use my hot glue gun when I get to that stage. There are moments when I think, if I get to that stage. Come on, get some colour in you. Go on. A little bit of clay there. I want some paint. I think when I do the next colour, I'll use a different brush so we get different spots are being hit with it. Colour. Oh, sun's coming out. Yay. Oh. As you can see, when you're doing stuff like this, it's not a very, even with all the planning, it's not a very quick process. It can be quite painstaking at times. I might need some more green phthalo. Or phthalo green, I should say. Get it right. Oh. I had some supplies arrive in the mail today for one of my next projects, so I'm a bit excited about that. Still need a few things to. Oh, whoops. Having a camera bad moment. My Crafty cam has paused itself, and no, we're starting to go again. It's funny, two devices can be in the exact same place and get completely different amounts of signal. Oops, try not to knock it all over. I tried drying this clay with my hairdryer earlier to see if I could get it to dry off a bit faster. Thanks. But all it ended up doing was warping the edges of the plastic slightly, so I had to stop. Tiny bit more. Oh, we keep glitching out. This is not a very smooth live stream. The last one was heaps better. But that's okay.
It's not the end of the world. Right, get the paint around these bits. I don't know where my crafty cam's going, but I can see what I'm doing, and it keeps freezing. Ah. Okay. A bit more around the bottom bits. Really get some of that colour in there. All those little divots and holes we made the other day is where we're trying to get the paint into now. Oh, get cramp in my hand. And also, when you hold it at different angles as well, you get to see a lot of the little spots that you've missed that you need to go back and rework. It's still feeling pretty solid, so that's a good sign. Ah, come on, you can do it. Getting in the holes. Get in there. Get in there. A little bit's coming off, but they're only loose bits anyway. Poking it in. Poke it in and give it a wiggle. That's what she said. Right, clean that brush. Now we're going to actually might use the same brush for this bit. Do some of the regular green. It's kind of a leafy green. It's just kind of highlights over the top. I still see plenty of the phthalo green. We don't want to cover it completely. We just want to dabble grass colour. I mean, when you look at grass, it's not a uniform sea of green. There's shadows and there's lighter parts where the sun hits it, and we want it looking not so flat. We want depth in our colour. For a touch of the OCD-like tendencies I have, where I want everything to look kind of real. I know I can't do that realistic look. That's beyond my knowledge set, my skill set, and one day maybe I'll get there, but not yet. As you can see, more and more of that white is being covered up. As we're just plonking the brush in there. Now we're going to blend a little bit of the green with some yellow to make a different shade of green. A real yellow green. There might be a bit more of the grass green you're familiar with. I especially want it in the cemetery. I don't know why, I just do. Maybe it's because that side is going to have a little bit of more sun exposure. So around the front, maybe over here. I don't know if it's picking it up on camera or not, but it's starting to have a lot more depth in colour, which is what I was most definitely looking for. Oops, knocking the camera. Now I'm going to add a touch of white to the green. Oh, that was a big touch. Let's see how that rolls out. Might need a little bit more green. Okay. So this is barely adding any colour, but that's what keeps it really subtle. A little bit of clay came off. Okay, now I'm happy with that. I don't know if you can get a good look at the colour, especially in this lighting. But there's all different layers to it. Right. Next. We need to leave that to dry for a while. And then I'll decide if I want to do any more to it colour-wise. Certainly needs to be a lot drier before I can start gluing things onto it. We'll put this out of the way, somewhere safe, over here. See, I changed the angle and I can see a whole lot more of the white again. It's like, I've got to put my green. slowly drying. Okay, now I'm happy. Oh, different angle. Ah. Okay. I'm not going to look at it. Next, we're going to look at paints out of the way. This guy. Thanks, Bomber. Now, because he's still quite blocky and square looking, you know, I need to round off a lot of those corners. Let's see. His head's a bit of a funny shape. Maybe he had a knock on the head when he was a little squatchling. Oh boy. Hang on. Okay. See, here's quite flat, so I need to round that off. But we don't want to press hard because I don't want to break him. Let's round it gently. There we go. It's looking a little bit better. I see it's blocky there as well, so we'll work on that side. If any, hey again, Julia. If anybody wants, I can post the full length proper version of when I was sculpting this guy without the time lapse, so you can actually see the detail that I went to and the length of time it took. I don't know if anybody wants to see it, but if you want to see it, I can put it up on my channel. There we go. It's a little bit better. Check out that booty. that gives me a laugh. Okay. Blow all the sandy bits off him. And because I've given him a bit of a sand as well, it's going to help the paint to stick better. Look at that handout. Hey, girlfriend. He's got camp. Even the sway of the hips. That was unintentional. but hey. Couldn't get much detail done on the face, unfortunately, because it's just so tiny. All right, so we need to paint him. I'm going to get a different brush. Not that one, because it's shedding all its things. Or that one. Or that one. Picking from my jar of many, many brushes. Oh, yeah, you might do. It's actually a watercolor brush. So, being a bit naughty, but there it is. Now I'm going to squirt my brown paint into my tray. My brown paint is very old and globby, and it looks very much like a poop. I'm trying to squirt him out. Get off. There we go. That's quite unappealing. It's my poop paint. Oh, I need 2 hands for this. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to start off. Get a little tiny bit of water on my brush, not a lot, just want it damp. I'm going to start off by just painting him a dark brown all over. We can colour bits up in detail later. You know, a lot of Sasquatches you hear are supposed to be black, but I want mine to be brown and black. I don't know. I'm doing brown because that's what I thought to do first. Leaving some brush strokes I think won't matter too much because we're going to be going over it quite considerably with other colours for the detailing. And also adds to the look for hair and fur on the body. We need to make sure we're getting the little nooks and crannies. It's not. Brush is not happy doing this. I need a little more water on it. Okay. And get in there. I need to get up under there. And I need to have my hands in front of the camera. Oh, get around the back of the head. I don't want them too wet. He's really wet at the moment. Oops. Okay. Make sure I haven't missed anything. He's very, very wet at the moment. I'm not sure if I'm happy with that. So I get my trusty paper towel. I'm wiping my brushes on to dry them. Try blotting him. Ooh, quite like that effect. Look at that. So that was a happy little discovery. Oh, let's see a spot of mist. Okay, get my brush right in there. Oh, and that armpit. So it pays to put things down sometimes and look at them from different angles. So pat them dry over here. Okay. So he's looking kind of cool already. But that will not be the only colour on him. But you see how, now that I've done that, you can see how the darker bits of colour have remained inside all the nooks and crannies. So it highlights them better. Birdie. I'm sorry. I've got a juvenile sense of humour. I'm enjoying some Sasquatch booty. A tiny touch of black paint. Mix some brown and some black together. And try and dry up my brush a little bit. Okay. My hands are different. My feet are different. He's got pretty big feet, which is perfect. That brush. Switching brushes. Where are you? Here we go. Now I'm looking to blend a lighter, slightly yellow tinted brown. I'm always going to have blonde highlights, or blonder highlights. Right. There's my trusty skewers. Hold them steady so I'm not sticking my finger in it all the time. See, it's really patchy how I'm doing it. Again, it's all about dappled sunlight and some darker brown going on. There we go. Ah, too much paint on my brush. Uh-huh. lighter colour on top of his head. Oh, darker colour on the hands and feet. Some of that other colour is wiped off a little bit. And on its face. I can touch that face up again. Some brown in there, I just noticed it before. Okay, so that's probably like good enough for the first layer of colour on him. Clean brush. Okay, let's see how this green grass is looking. Brushes don't want to stay put. You see, this clay is wanting to lift out, which means it's slowly drying. But it's not quite there yet. But what we're going to do next time is start gluing things into place. So there'll be the little cemetery with those headstones. There'll be the little cottage, cabin. Keep going to call it a cottage. And somewhere over here will be the tree. I haven't decided which way it's facing properly yet. Maybe that way, maybe that way. Actually, that looks really good. I like that. I actually do like that. And then somewhere we'll stick Bigfoot. We'll have him peeking out by the tree or around behind the cabin. I don't know yet. Oh, don't knock it all over yet, Vanessa. Far out. But anyway, that's where we're at today. We'll give it another day or two to dry out even more. And we'll clean up around these edges a little bit, I think, just so they're not all covered in paint. I'll see you in a couple more days. And we'll start the construction, I think. Unless I find something else I need fixing up. All right. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.